You're listening to Love Talk Live with the relationship expert, Jaime Bronstein, only on LA Talk Radio.
Hello and welcome to Love Talk Live. I'm your host, Jaime Bronstein, and today I have with me the creators of a documentary short called Hunny Bunny. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Hey, how are you?
For having us.
Thanks for having us.
So happy you guys are here to do this. So this is who we have here. We have Jaden. Is it Barriel?
Barriel, yeah.
Okay, there's Jaden, and he is the director. We also have Ava Barriel, and she's the co-producer. We have Trevor Baumgardner, who is the co-composer. We have Chris Hendricks, who is a co-composer and songwriter. And Heather Smith, who is not available to make it today. She's the graphic artist. And then David Zimmerman, who is the producer and executive producer. So there's a lot of us. This is the first time we're doing this many, so this is fun. I'm just going to let whoever would like to speak tell the viewers about what Hunny Bunny is all about and why you decided to make it.
David, do you want to start?
Okay, I'll start. Well, I had been connected with the Disability Film Challenge in a way that every year for the last 5 or 6 years, Meet the Biz, which is a program that I've had going on for about a decade now, a little over that, and Performing Arts Studio West hosted the Disability Film Challenge, the meet and the greet. And every year we've been doing that. And then finally this year, of course, being in quarantine, it came out that they were doing documentaries. And I went, oh my God, you know, I've always wanted to do a film, and I've been working on another documentary for years. So I have a lot of different footage gathered up. And I all of a sudden I thought, Blaire Williamson, which is a dear friend of mine. And I called up his mom, Gail, and said, I'm thinking of jumping into the Disability Film Challenge, and I'd love to do a film starring Blaire, or focused on Blaire and his girlfriend, Susie. And she said, oh my God, I've got to get you in touch with Jaden Barriel and his family, because Jaden had just interviewed like a month before the quarantine, a bunch
the weekend before.
What?
It was the weekend.
Oh my God, a week before. Oh my God. Yes. So there you go. And so that's how it began. And yeah, then I'll throw it over to the Barriels.
Wow.
Well, yeah, I mean, okay. So I was in a school film program, and we had to do, it was our final project. We had one more project left. So I decided to go all out and make a documentary, which I had not tried before. And she over here suggested Blaire Williamson. I personally never heard of, but when I met him, he was super nice and responsive with the interviewing, and it was just all a fun experience.
I mean, this is very impressive at your age to do something like this.
I mean, yeah, we have been learning about film, and we learned a lot about documentaries in the first year, so I decided to do a documentary.
Wow. Okay, and so do you guys want to tell the viewers a little bit about this film, why they should see it? The premise, I saw it and it was heartwarming. This is a population that I used to work with years ago, and they hold such a beautiful place in my heart. And I love that you're just sharing that that people are all people, that we are all equal, and that no matter what is going on with you physically or mentally, you can still have love in your life.
Yeah.
So, and that's why this is so great that you guys are talking about this on Love Talk Live. So please tell the viewers about this couple that we're talking about, and their story and everything.
Well, I've known Blaire for, I think, over almost 25 years. And I used to go on the set with him, and we'd hang out. I met him at Born to Act Players, which is a wonderful acting group led by Mary Rings. And it's sort of like family, it's the extended family. But I was thinking, when I thought about making this film or moving forward with it, I thought, their love story, I mean, I hope to have a love story like that, for, a few years, since hopefully I'll be around long enough to have that. But their love story transcends. And I really, my goal as producer was to convey a film that everybody could watch and say, oh, I wish I had that, or I have that. And then, oh, they don't even think that it's, quote, a couple who happens to be Down syndrome. It's about love. And I'm getting chills now. It's interesting because it's really hitting me. When we finally did it and got it out there, I would watch it 5 times a day to uplift me. Because, we're going through all this stuff we're going through, the quarantine and the election and the world. But I would turn that on. I'd wake up in the morning, say, I'm going to watch Hunny Bunny. And I watched it. It took me away from everything, and it lifted my spirits. And it's about love. Yeah.
And I think it's the innocence and the sweetness that they have in their relationship that anybody and everybody has the ability to cultivate.
And the reality of it. I mean, they have disagreements and are annoyed by each other, just like we all are annoyed by our significant others. And I thought it was important that Jaden included that. And it was great because that was something that David had from previous interviews or projects, was where they get in little tiffs.
It was basically like a normal relationship, you could say.
Yeah. Showing the humanity of it, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Chris, it looks like you're about to say something.
Yeah, that's the thing. The beauty of the film is that, in my opinion, is that it represents both a normal and a not normal relationship, in that it is the relationship that everyone wishes they had. Like, I don't care how good you think your relationship is, it isn't these two. You can keep trying. It's not going to, like, you can take all the classes and go into the deep connections and meditate together on an island, but you're not gonna get Blaire and Susie. But I think that's the beauty of the film, really. Like, I think it's something we can all strive towards and pursue, and I hope that's what people get from it.
I just got this download. I just got this image of you guys making a book or something from this, of quotes that he says to her, she says to him, just really cute and inspirational things, and the humanity of it.
Good idea, David. David.
Yeah, sure.
David got up with that idea.
Oh, we'll just have to have a meeting with Blaire, Susie, and go with it.
Yeah.
It really does seem like a fairy tale, in that it, just like in fairy tales, it's not all easygoing. There's each one of them also has conflict and humor, and of course it wraps up with tale as old as time. So I think that was like a perfect choice to kind of like end and put a little bow, because they really, in just that short amount of time, kind of walk you through the whole process of a fairy tale from start to finish.
Yeah.
So how long was this journey for you guys? How long did it take from start to finish? I know you said you had footage of the couple.
Well, I had footage, I think, like 15 years ago. And then throughout the years, I've had little, I would pick up the camera when we went to a film festival, or when we were working on the set, or when we were auditioning for this other film that I'm doing, My Next Breath. So that old footage, which we could use for our film through the Disability Film Challenge, was there. But the process when we got together, I think it was, we have 4 or 4 days to complete it, but I know that we could get together a week or two before. I think we started it about 2 weeks before, was it?
I think so.
Yeah.
And what was so nice is everybody just went, shoot. You know, we all fit it. We all knew what we were doing. It's like the director directed, the producer produced, the music was amazing. I mean,
and we were deep inside the pandemic. So it's like we all were not doing it. It's not like, oh, I'm sorry, I have a wedding to go to, or I have graduation. It was like, we're all doing nothing. Let's collaborate and make a beautiful film.
Might as well do something, you know?
That's right.
Well, you did something magical and amazing. What were you going to say, David?
I was going to say too, there's levels with this film too. They're very subtle, or some people could see them more than others. Like you could see when Susie, you know, several years ago, she was more sharper. In fact, she was sharper than Blaire. She was more on top of things. And as you see now, she's not as sharp because as especially Down syndrome, I guess people with Down syndrome, what is it called?
Alzheimer's?
I think Alzheimer's, they can get it earlier, an earlier onset of it, which I guess we all get that at a certain time where, you know, we're not as sharp, but you could see subtly the decline of what has happened in the relationship, but the love is still so strong.
That was the most important thing. So there's clearly an unwrapping that's happening. And yet the passion and the dedication, if anything, elevates throughout the film. There's a really, really powerful clip or a really powerful portion of the movie. And it's only a moment where Blaire really leans into his love for Susie when she's going through something. And that to me, I mean, it just makes the film. I mean, like everything leading up to it and everything beyond it, but there's something like, even though that doesn't take place in the center of the film, it's sort of like this centerpiece that says everything in a frame. Which is everything you hope for in a well put together film, particularly you know, speaking from you know, in documentary language, if you will, and to have someone like Jaden who clearly has a very well defined vision for this thing, and to have that kind of foresight. As young as he is, it's just one of those moments you look at that as a fellow creator and just be like, oh, it's just not fair.
It's great. And I love that it was the whole family working together. We had Jaden, Ava, and then Henry.
Who's not here.
Who's not here, obviously.
Who's Henry?
But he edited.
Henry? You said there's a guy named Henry also?
Yeah. So he was the editor, and but he actually is in Italy teaching film directing right now.
And who is he? How is he related to you guys?
My husband, his dad.
Yep. That's
Wow,
it.
so you really did keep it in the family. That's amazing.
Made the family bigger.
Right?
And then you guys are all family.
Yes, definitely. And what was nice too is, you know, I just met the Barrios, but at the same time, Ava met Blaire. Was it 20 years ago?
Yeah, it was 21 years ago.
Wow.
Henry and I weren't even married. And we're celebrating our 19th on Monday.
Yay! Happy anniversary, Love Talk Live. So, how did you meet Blaire?
Henry and I produced a movie based on my relationship with my brother who has Down syndrome. And we were going to use my brother, but due to logistics, because he lives in Florida, we decided, let's cast an actor. And so we had auditions, and that's how I met Blaire and stayed friends ever since.
And that was Heartland.
And that was Heartland. Yep. And
That
it was a
was the other
feature-length film, but it wasn't documentary. It was script. It was based. There were moments based on the relationship, but it wasn't based on truth.
So I would love to go around, and this, you do not have time to plan this out, so this is good. We like spontaneous, coming from your heart answers. Everybody get nervous. I'm kidding. Nothing to be nervous about. Okay. So I would love everybody to just go into your heart and share with our audience and your potential audience for this movie, what is the real purpose of this film?
I'll go first then. The real purpose of this film, well, at least how I thought it, was just to show people that you can have a relationship if you try, and anybody can have a relationship if they try, you know? And they did, and it's just a wonderful relationship.
Absolutely. Thank you. That's beautiful. Who wants to go next?
I'll take a stab at it. For me, I think that the purpose of the film is to showcase the real tangible value of living and carrying with you a condition, because I think that so many times you showcase the challenges, and of course the challenges are evident in the film, but I think people underestimate the power of what comes along with having something like Down syndrome. And one of the powers truly is this ability to carry yourself with loyalty and unconditional love with the world around you. And so that just makes the intimate relationship that you choose to put yourself in all that much more expansive. And that's what's really going to affect people. So I think it's about time that we showcased that power. I think that's what the film represents.
I love it. So such a impactful message, and I know that you guys have already impacted people, and you're going to continue to impact people.
I just love that it's really a framework for love and what that can look like, and it can be in many different forms. And even to bring it back specifically to Love Talk, just how they communicate with each other in all these different forms. It's not all it's all heart, but it's also grounded in reality. It really, in this little 5 to 6 minute journey, you get to see it in all of its forms and all of its difficulties and all of its passions. But really what I love about it is their communication, their talk between each other. And, what's not to love?
And they can be such an inspiration to people of how to communicate, because a lot of people that don't have disabilities, that is their disability. They don't know how to communicate.
Absolutely. Most people are.
Right? Yeah. I really see it as a heart, I guess, 6 years ago, about a week before my 50th birthday, I had a massive heart attack. And thank God I'm still here and all that. And sometimes I still say, am I still here? So crazy out there. But it is this extended family that I have been blessed being connected to that has kept me going. And it is people like Blaire who is one of the main, keeps the heart beating, and especially their relationship. I always said it's like, God, I would love, like I mentioned before, I would love a relationship like that. So I really see it just about the heart and love and connection.
Yeah, I love that you got emotional there, because when we get emotional, that's our truth. And so I can just see how much these people have affected your life. And It's amazing. I mean, love is so healing. That's why I love love. That's why I have a talk show about love.
And what's so, when I saw that, that you had that show about love, you had the show about love, and to know that, maybe I had that relationship with Blaire, but that love is so strong, boom, boom, boom. Now we have this family here. We have the Hunny Bunny family, and it's a domino effect. And that is what I, in this crazy world of all the of love, of hate, you have balance here and there. I'm putting out the love. That's what I want to do. Keep on love, and in different ways, Sometimes they don't, the people watching films don't know what the underlying, magic is, but hopefully it changes their hearts.
It definitely will. I mean, it can't not. Okay, so Ava, did you want to say something, or?
Yeah, I think for me, I'm on the side, I'm a photographer. And so when I do photography, I'm always looking for a connection, not so much posing. That's kind of how I photograph. So I really am connected to art where there's a connection. And so to see a, true life connection and see how beautiful it is, that's what I like to convey out to the world, because it's real, it's natural, and it's the most beautiful thing in the world. And I just feel like that was nailed with this project.
I love that you just brought up connection. And ironically, I'm actually making a documentary about relationships, that they actually exist, true love relationships. I'll talk to any of you guys about the process at some point, if you're open.
Absolutely.
It's been a journey already. And yeah, I love, because that's my purpose for that also, to show that anybody can have a relationship. You can choose anybody off the street, but it's about the right one when you have that deep connection, and then it's magical.
And it's so honest and raw and real. You cannot fake it. So that's what's beautiful.
And before, when whoever, I think Chris, you're the one who said the word humanity. Your documentary, my documentary, it's not about this perfect couple. There is no such thing as a perfect couple. There's realness, there's fighting, there's conflict, there's ups, there's downs, and it's all perfect for them.
Yeah.
And connection. Yeah. It's that deep connection.
Well, it's about those ups and downs in life that make life so amazing,
Gratefulness.
Yeah.
Did you guys want to talk? I know you wanted to talk in some aspect about the music, and so I would love you guys to share about the music.
I'll hand that to Chris and Trevor.
Yeah.
Well, I met Chris in Sedona, Arizona, and I was like smitten in the sense that, oh my God, this guy's amazing. And anyway, I'll throw it out to Chris on that. But he's hopefully working on the My Next Breath project as well. We are working on that together.
We hopefully have been doing it for the last year and a half.
Oh my God, the man's freaking brilliant.
Well, don't turn me red or anything right before I have to say important stuff.
You can't see it on the screen. That's the good thing about Zoom.
Okay.
Or StreamYard.
It's just the light. Well, I just, what I loved about the film, just the film and pictures, before the music was layered on, is I think one of the things that really glued everything together. And I hope that this makes sense to people watching and people listening. But there's sort of this underlying old school glue that makes everything fit. And what I mean by old school glue is you honestly do, it's super subtle, but you get this sort of like Casablanca-esque tone to it. So like an example would be there's intentionally old school language built into the communication. Like, so for example, Blaire will use words like knucklehead
Yeah.
right? And I know that sounds like it seems like such a small thing, but to me that was huge because you hear phrases like "Here's looking at you, kids," right?
Yeah.
And they're not, and obviously you look at it like an old school film like Casablanca, it's timeless. They're
Mhm.
not kids. It was very much the epitome of relationship at the time. And I think like especially in film right now, there's this push for everything being modern, right? And so when you have the ability to look back and be modern at the same time, and you can use that to make everything fit together, I think that's a really, really big deal. And so when I heard that in the communication, I kind of tried to create that vibe musically as best I could, but also make it light and fun. And that's kind of where the ukulele came in as far as musical choice, because it's a very bright and upbeat instrument. I think that it represents Blaire and it represents Susie, but there's a way that you can use the ukulele without being loud. It's more about being precise and less about being loud, to evoke some of that subtle old school stuff, right? So you have like the bright joy coming from the instrument, but then when there's conflict and when Blaire has the opportunity to really lean into the love with Susie, if you listen to the soundtrack, all of a sudden it becomes very like it's just brought down a bit, and there's a sense of quiet, precise noise, if you will. And then I can't really tell you where the song came from. Yeah. I wish I could tell you. I felt like we needed a song, and I mentioned it to Trevor. And then after I say this, I'll pass it on to Trevor. But I was like, I think we need a song, and then you said, "Call me back when you have it," and I forwarded like did I call you like 10 minutes later?
10 minutes later, there's the song.
2 minutes later.
Oh my God.
And that's when you know, like as a songwriter, when you're able to put something together that quickly, it's always a good sign, because when it all comes out, it was all meant to be, right? Just like their love story. So it all kind of fits. And I'm just really.
Didn't we watch the movie and then you like talk to Trevor about the song, and then like 10 minutes later it was like the movie, like output of the movie, boom, boom. So maybe you were inspired by the footage.
Yep, that was it. It was all everything was connected to that, and I'm really fortunate to know someone as talented as Trevor. He really, really is, and he doesn't give himself enough credit at all. Just look at this dude's credentials, and that's not even close to how talented this guy is. And when I found out we were doing this project, I called him up and I was like, "Please!" And Trevor was like, "Are you kidding? Of course."
Thank God.
Yeah, I know.
What a great collaboration you guys.
Yeah. Any excuse to work with Chris, I take it, because we've been working together off and on for years and years and years now, and I just relish it. He's a lyric genius, and those 10 minutes, it's true. I remember I layered it in. We were about to have the first kind of like meeting of everyone, because it is this 48-hour. It's a really quick turnaround, but we were going to present the music to everyone. And just minutes before, get the song, layer it in, cut it up, and then there we are. So it's almost like I was experiencing it somewhat in real time before I even pressed play to show everyone. We were in the Zoom call, and I'm still cropping in the music. But I love Chris, and I knew he told me it was going to be like this, a quick film festival. So I wasn't sure what I was going to make of it. But he told me the premise, and we discussed a little about that. But I saw the first cut, and normally when I'm doing a film score or something, like I like to set a rule. I'll watch something like 5 times before I like write down any notes, and I just want to like really feel and get it. But I watched this once, And I was like, oh, I get it. And I thought that like really spoke to Jaden's work, because I was like, oh, I know this. It's heart, it's love. Let's go. So it's very clear, and I always feel it's like a movie business call. Like I get on the phone, we have 48 hours. I'm like, okay, Chris, I want to ukulele, and I want 20 tracks on my desk in 2 hours, and then I hang up. And so Chris like comes up with all these various themes. Like let's say it's like 20 different ideas, different tracks, like one takes. And I was going to look at the film, layer it in, pick and choose. So it's almost like I was editing or like curating Chris's tracks, and then I was going to go in and layer them out. And we decided on the uke because it's such a beautiful instrument, and Chris really touched on it because it's really a subtle instrument, because at its face value, it's a small, cute little thing. But just like its history in Hawaii, there's a lot of like nuance in that history. It's not all rainbows and sunshines, and like that instrument can portray it. And so in our conversations, I was like, yes, you perfect. I was going to play mandolin. Chris is going to like whistle. We're going to do this whole shebang. And so he sends me all of these tracks, and really what I'm doing is I was curating what he's having. It's, angle in, how do I shine a light on this? What tracks goes where, and kind of painting the music across the film. And we go through, I layer it in. It's right before the meeting. We all watched it together on the cut. And as I'm sitting there watching it, I was like, oh, this is, we're done. I was like, we're done. I was like, I think Henry had mentioned that he's like, yeah, we don't really want to overproduce this. And I'm like, oh, no, he's actually right. I think we're done here. There was maybe like one little edit at one moment. And so traditionally what you'd think is, oh, 2 characters, 2 love story, 2 instruments. But what I think really came across is just in the simplicity is that they really have become one person, one unit. And so bucking that traditional, 2 instrument dialogue, like they're together. They've really come to form as one person. So one simple instrument is all we used. And how we kind of shone the light on Chris's tracks was the fun part of it. And like that's what I really loved about the experience. And then of course Chris, in 10 minutes he calls me, he's got a great song. And I removed myself from performing. I was like, I'm not needed. This music, it says it all. So
I just love all the metaphors. The one instrument, and you were just throughout the script, you guys were saying that the metaphor of the Casablanca and the old school, it just seems like there are a lot of metaphors and messages embedded in this beautiful film.
And you have to pay attention, right?
I want to watch it again. I can't wait. Watch it every morning.
I think that's kind of what I love it, is that it doesn't feel like a one and done film. Like each time you watch it, there will be some new layer that exposes itself for you, and you have to sort of be ready for it and be in the right space emotionally to notice it. And I think that was kind of the nicest thing for me, is like, depending on where I was, it didn't matter where I was mood wise. If I watched the film, it would balance wherever I was. Like if I was mad and I wanted to stay mad, or I wanted to be sad, the film let me be sad. I could be like, oh, but if I like wanted it to lift me up, I could watch it and just feel better and be like, okay, I'm good. The anger is gone. Like it's like it feels like just the perfect 5 minutes of medicine. Like, I don't know. It's a great emotional medicine that everyone could use, and you can never, it's the best kind because you can never overdose on it. Just keep drinking it in.
And I just want to say one more thing, that David, you said the word evoke. I think it was you that said evoke before evoke emotions, and maybe it wasn't you.
I forget what I say.
You don't remember.
After 50,
It was probably you.
what?
Memory. But yeah, I love how, because I was going to say, like when we were talking about the music, like how music evokes emotion, and the message of the film evokes emotion. And I love evoking emotion in people. And so I just think it's so cool when other people love evoking emotion in people, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So do we have any final words? You guys need to talk about how people can watch this film. When I post this, I'd be happy to post a link and, but what's the website, etc.
Yeah, well, one thing I did want to say, I just want to thank Blaire's mom and dad for having Blaire, because I just love Gail and Tommy. Again, part of the family.
Thank you, Gail and Tommy.
What?
I said, thank you, Gail and Tommy.
Yes.
They're definitely part of the family.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. You can check out our website at www.honeybunnymovie.com or honeybunnyfilm.com. We got them both. We have
HUNNY.
Yes, thank you for that. Yeah, HUNNYBUNNY. And we have the movie there. We have some pictures behind the scenes and from clips from the film and a way to contact. And we've applied to some film festivals too, beside the Disability Film Challenge. And we'll see. They'll be popping up in the new year. So.
That is so exciting. Well, I'm so happy to promote it, to tell people about it.
Thank you so much, Jamie.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for doing this film. It's such a strong, beautiful, impactful message. Love, connection, evoking emotion, humanity. We've covered it all. You guys cover it all. Blaire and Susie cover it all. And Tommy and
Yeah.
Tommy and Gail.
Yeah.
I'm sure they cover it all also.
Oh, good.
Well, thank you guys so much for doing the show. This was amazing. And as always, anybody can contact me through therelationshipexpert.com if you have any questions. And I love doing the show for this very reason, to spread the message of love. So thank you guys so much for joining me today.
Thank you too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. I hope you guys have a great night. Hope everybody has a great night, and catch us live every week on Love Talk Live. Have a great evening, everyone.
You're listening to Love Talk Live with the relationship expert, Jaime Bronstein, only on LA Talk Radio.